Libras, hello, my loves. I am just overwhelmed right now with your energy. I feel like you have a million things that you want to say, a million and ten. But listen, okay, we've got the desert in the comic, the storm and the dead end, and the mother. Hold on, the storm and the dead end, the mother and the box, the seed, the cave, the pilgrim, the ring, and the hunter. Oh my god. So many cards. Okay. Libras. I'm here for it though. I'm here for it. Okay. Well, I gotta organize a little bit because I'm limited on my space here. Okay. So, Libras. We're going to start with the dead end and the storm because I feel like there's just been this feeling of being really stuck. You've got the desert and the box, feeling like whatever it is that you're reaching for, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, like it's not working. It's wrapped in confusion and missteps and assumptions and, oh, what I don't know, but I just feel like there was this really big point of contention. This really, like this sense of, I don't know, I just feel like I'm stuck in glue and I'm trying to walk but I can't get anywhere. I'm trying to pull, and you know what I mean? I just feel stuck. And I feel like this energy that's been focused on trying to like get unstuck, but you haven't been able to do that. And I feel like part of that struggle has been with it, like a sense of identity. I mean, the mother is the idea of clinging to an identity, so that you can gain your identity through some other form of what, lifestyle, social group, um, careers. I mean, people gain their identity, religion. You know what I mean? Like people gain their identities through everything. Like we're taught to do that, and Libras are so, like of the people, like they want to make sure that everything is very balanced and very fair. And sometimes can find themselves in a state of indecision that almost like lends them to, because an indecision, and I love y'all so much, and I love you, but indecision is a decision, because indecision is fallback. And I feel like you've been existing in a state of indecision, not necessarily from a place of bad intention, because sometimes the indecision is that you see everybody's side of the story. You know what I mean? And you're just like, well, I can see how they feel this way, and I can see this, and I can see that. And it's like, well, it's great that you can see all of that, but what do you do with that information? you know, do you just justify everybody in this scenario, and nobody can really be in the wrong, even though people have experienced injustice? You know what I mean? It's just kind of like this indecision is decision, and it's usually a bad decision. And Libras, I don't think that you intentionally do that to yourselves. I think that you just get caught in looking at what everybody else is doing, and you don't see how that negatively impacts your own decisions. And therefore you feel stuck, and therefore you feel like you can't get anywhere, and therefore da 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 da. But I think that in this stuckedness, if you will, there's been like a sense of hermiting, like a sense of just kind of like stopping and thinking, and I don't know. I feel like going over all of the poor conceived ideas is what I want to say. that always felt like they were out of your reach, but they were always out of your reach because you weren't following through with the right decisions, because you were making decisions from a state of chaos. And the chaos was that you were trying to take everyone's opinion into consideration, but you weren't taking the actual situation at hand into consideration. You were just, I almost feel like practicing empathy across the board, but it wasn't a situation where empathy was allowing for justice. And there's a sense of having an identity of empathy that was just really preventing forward movement. I don't know with yourself, with other people, however that plays out for you as an individual, but I think that, you reached a point where you had to really think about it. And I think that, the conclusion that you came to was that, and I know Libra doesn't want to, it's so important for you to be right and to be just. And I feel like in this attempt to be right and to be just, there was a wrongdoing done. And I don't say that as though like you were doing wrong to somebody on purpose and trying to like maliciously hurt anyone, because I don't think you would ever. But it doesn't mean that it can't happen, because a lot of times our subconscious behaviors rule us and we don't realize it. That's why they're subconscious. And when that happens, like I feel like it brings it to the forefront. When we experience the consequences of that, it brings it to the forefront and it gives us an opportunity to heal that part of our soul. Like karmically speaking, I think that that's kind of in alignment with the Buddhist mentality of, like you live the lives over and over until you've mastered it. And I think that that's part of what we're doing here is we're mastering our subconscious. We're clearing out our energy and our spirits to evolve to that next spiritual level. And I think that you want to evolve to a next spiritual level, and you're recognizing the fact that that's requiring you to make some decisions that, like, maybe you feel like you're somehow doing this person a disservice by making this decision. And yet, I think that the true disservice is to the ultimate goal. And the goal has been put off because you've been indecisive due to empathy experienced in a situation that did not call for empathy. And I say that, it's just like sometimes we have to make a decision. Sometimes you just have to. But I feel like you're definitely making that decision. And I do kind of feel like for a lot of my Libras, it's because the decision was made for you. And then when the decision was made for you, you didn't like what that decision was. And so I don't know, for some of my Libras, I feel like you could be taking a trip. And like on this trip, like, I don't know, maybe for some of my Libras who are married, you're like renewing your vows or something. But I feel like you go on a trip and you just, I'm going to say this, and I say this with all of the love, and I do not mean this in like a way of criticism. I feel like I'm going to say it and it's going to feel critical to some of you. Please just like let me talk you through it before you get angry at me, okay? There's a strength that is growing in you from making hard decisions. And I think that strength has I think that empathy has been blurred, has been a line that's been blurred with critical thinking. Because you need to apply all things to every situation, critically think and analyze the situation. Empathetically feel it out. Like combine those factors. And I don't want to say that you've appeared weak, but there's a sense of weakness here that I feel like is being strengthened. And it's in the fact that instead of just losing yourself in the stories of everybody and feeling empathetic for them, you're starting to say, you know what, That's not my role. My role here is not, and it is very counselor. Libras are like such counselor energy. I love Libras. But it's like, instead of being that person, I feel like you're starting to set boundaries because you're starting to make decisions for something specific concerning yourself and your life, whether that's a business or a relationship or what. I just feel like you're starting to lay down boundaries and saying, you know what, it's not my job to take on everyone's opinion. It's not my job to take on, to feel how everyone else is feeling. Like right now, I don't know. It does kind of feel like that. Like if it's a family situation, you're like, I need to focus on me and mine. Like my partner and I have these dreams and we want to do these things together, and that's what we're going to do. You know what I mean? Or, um, like a business, and it's like, we've decided we're going to do this. And so like, we need to put our attention here. And like, I'm really sorry if you feel like left out of that or you feel some type of way about that. But like, this is the decision that's the best decision right now. And while, yes, I can understand where you're coming from and why you feel that way, there has to be a decision. And I feel like you've been steady evolving, through this feeling stuck of like building the strength to make the right decision for you, you know? Um, because you're ready to really, I think, dive into that next level of intimacy, that next sense of empathy. Because when you connect with people, um, it creates a whole different dynamic, um, and it shifts the storyline. And I feel like you're shifting your storyline because you're starting to like, I just feel like cut down on the characters. Okay, so we are 12 minutes in, but whew, that was a lot of cards, you guys. Okay, let's do clarifiers. Libras, I love you guys. I feel like you were like, I've got some shit to say. We gonna have a conversation today. Libs. Okay. Yeah, I really do think some of my Libras are going on a trip. And I really do think some of my Libras might get married. I don't know, you guys. Maybe you're dealing with a Virgo or you have Virgo in your chart. I don't know. Because there's just... Okay. Where do I start? I'll start here. I feel like there's... Sorry, give me a second. There's so many cards, y'all. I feel like there's a decision made to go on a trip. You're going on a trip. And you go on this trip, and I feel like well, this with a sense of investment. Like I'm going on this trip to invest in something. But I feel like whatever it is that you're investing in is connected with a sense of clarity and truth that I feel like empowers you. I feel like this elevated sense of empathy because anything, any gift, any skill, anything, if you just are out here willy-nilly in it, you'll hurt people. You'll hurt yourself. Everything requires discipline. In order to wield it in a safe manner, you need to know how to do it. And I feel like you haven't been wielding your gift with discernment. You've just been out here, you know? And I feel like that whatever this clarity is, it's giving you, I just feel like a mastered skill. And I think for a lot of my Libras, and I don't know, but this just feels like a love relationship. Like you, I mean, you do have the ring. It could be for you get some of you that are getting married. For my single Libras out there, maybe you're just meeting somebody who you are just like you connect immediately. You know, like you I don't know if it's somebody that you're like meeting. I feel like you already know this person. So I don't know, like take meeting with like a grain of salt. Like maybe you're meeting up with them on this trip and you're going to go on this trip with them. And then you discover that you guys are so perfectly connected and there's just this sense of alignment and love and like a higher elevated sense of awareness empathetically, like spiritual awareness. And I love that, Libras. I mean, hells to the yeah. Okay, Libs. Let's do some clarifiers. Whew. I decided to set it up a little bit differently today because it was like, y'all never get to see how beautiful it is. It's so beautiful. But it's cold, you know? So, like, there's that. One card? Surely not. Four of Cups. I mean, the Four of Cups is just kind of that, like, being caught in the middle, right? The grass is always greener on the other side of the fence, which is kind of aligned to what I was saying in terms of like, if you're spending all of your time understanding where everybody's coming from and never making any decisions, there's never any justice because yeah, everybody's going to have a side of their story, but that doesn't make their side of the story right. Your ability to, to understand doesn't negate like the wrongdoing that occurred. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, an extreme example of that would be like, somebody who experienced molestation was as a child growing up and molesting a child. You know what I mean? It's like just because you can empathize with the villain of the story doesn't mean that it's okay. Yes, it's horrible that they experienced that as a child, and it's very understandable that they would be able to, engage in that as an adult because they probably have a million and 10 things they haven't sorted through, and so you want to take empathy and you want to, offer a safe space for people who haven't always been offered a safe space, and yet what the decision that they made isn't okay, and that needs to be addressed. At some point in time you have to stop the cycle. And I feel like instead of stopping the cycle, you were just understanding the cycle. And it's like, okay, but understanding the cycle doesn't do anybody any good. You have to stop it. And obviously that is an extreme example, and yet apply that to any scenario that like you were practicing empathy in a situation where empathy was doing more harm than good. Oh, the Ace of Pentacles also came out. A new beginning, because it's a decision making. You're making decisions that are opening up doors for you. The Ace of Pentacles in that deck is very much the idea of like, don't bat an eye at like a small beginning, or don't snub, like the idea of a small beginning, because sometimes the most beautiful things occur from the smallest of beginnings. And, maybe you feel like you're making a decision and it feels like a big decision, but it doesn't feel like you're taking a big step. And I guess I just want to say that's okay. It doesn't have to be a big step. Big decisions do not always begin with big steps. Baby steps, right? That's what my daddy always says. Okay. Ace of Cups, Ace of Swords, and Ace of Pentacles. I love that. New beginnings, new beginnings, new beginnings. A new sense of commitment to truth, to emotional well-being and security, to opportunity. I feel like I'm ready to start making decisions on behalf of opportunity that make sense. Because justifying things, making sense of things is to justify, right? Justify, just as if I'd never done it. It negates the experience. And I feel like you're no longer negating people's experiences in practicing a well-intended play at empathy. Um, and I think that it's like this decision that you're making is I don't know, I just feel like everything changed. I don't know, I feel like it's like a new chapter, it's like a new book, a new series. It's a good feeling though. It's a good feeling, and it does feel empowered. And there might be a tinge of guilt that you feel along the way here and there. I feel like maybe that's why we talked about it so much. But to that, I would say, like wield your gifts in the manner that will be, I don't know, that will be the most empowering, you know, empowering to you and to the people closest to you in your life. It's okay to practice discernment with who you surround yourself with. And practicing discernment about who you surround yourself with isn't saying you're better than anybody or anything like that. It's just acknowledging like what you need as an individual, right? Like as an individual, I need space. I need to be able to be alone. I need to, like if my battery's low, my battery's low and I need to just isolate. You know what I mean? And that's not me thinking poorly of anybody. That's just me acknowledging my own needs, and who's going to do it if not me? You know what I mean? And it's kind of one of those things where I feel like that that makes sense to you. That feels like an acceptable justification for it. So Libra, so Libra. I love y'all. Okay, let's do one last card and we'll call it a read. This is a long ass read, but I'm here for it, you guys. I enjoy these longer reads because I feel like we just get to have a better conversation about it, Of course, that card went right down. Oh, shit. I'm so ready to be out of this fucking car. I love you, Subi Lou, but oh my god. For serious. Ooh, I found the ladder. That's exciting. Okay. Sorry, I've been like checking out the local publications. Alright, let's see here. Here it is. The womb. Oh, this was in Capricorn's read. Maybe you guys have a Capricorn in your chart, or you're dealing with somebody who has a Capricorn. I don't know. Or who is a Capricorn. But the womb is the idea of security. And I feel like it does feel a lot more secure. It does feel a lot more safe, because the thing with practicing, empathy and for everyone always is that the people who have been victimized can never feel safe. And when you can't feel safe, you can't develop truly. And I feel like that's clicking for you in a really big way. And when you are able to provide a safe space for another human being who you love, when you are able to experience safety with another human being who loves you, I think that you feel less and less guilty about holding boundaries and practicing discernment. And that's amazing and beautiful and wonderful. And I feel like there are going to be so many healing factors to this. These are timeless general reads, so please do take what resonates, how it resonates, when it resonates. Leave the rest. But yeah, thank you so much for spending some time with me today and sharing your energy with me. This is a very beautiful read, and I'm rooting for you, Libras. I think you're going to, like really just thrive in this next endeavor in life. And I love that. If this did resonate, please do give me a like, share, and subscribe, and I will see y'all again soon. Bye.